Hey everybody, Stephen Bogren here from Pro Physique, and today I want to talk about why macros matter. Alright, I hope everybody's having a great day today. What a topic. Man, Stephen, why? Why do macros matter? Why should I track my macronutrient intake? Why should I pay attention to protein, fats, carbs? Why isn't counting calories good enough? Why isn't making healthy choices good enough? Why aren't those things enough, and why should I make the extra effort to actually put in the time and energy to learning how and paying attention to my macronutrient intake? Well, I'm glad you asked. You didn't ask? That's okay. I'll tell you anyways. The reasons why is because if we truly want to maximize our nutrition is important. Each of these macronutrients serves their own purpose within our bodies for a specific job. With that in mind, we may be hitting our numbers. We may be getting enough, and we may be doing a great job without specifically trying to pay attention to our macronutrient intake. However, we also may not be doing a good job with that. So it can be important for us to be aware and understanding of what that means, particularly if you have goals in health, fitness, or athletic performance. Yes. So let's first and foremost talk about what I would say is, to me, for a physique athlete or somebody trying to add any kind of muscularity to their body, probably the most important and possibly one of the easiest to overlook. And that is protein. In the wise words of Dr. Bill Campbell, protein is what I like to refer to as the adaptive macronutrient. Meaning, when I eat enough protein and complete protein, my body says, cool, let's build muscle. Yes, it does that. We trigger something called muscle protein synthesis. Muscle protein synthesis. I'm probably not going to line that up well enough. But yes, which tells our body we can create new muscle tissue. Okay? Now we can also do that with resistance training, but that's for another time. So protein is the one thing that we refer to as the adaptive macronutrient because it is actively creating an environment to where we are adapting to eating it. It's a wonderful thing. And when we talk about complete proteins, what we're looking at is the essential amino acid profile. For those of my plant-based and vegetarian and vegan athletes, this still works for you as well. And most of you already understand this and the importance, because you have to pay even more attention to making sure that we're doing the right things for our nutrition, particularly in protein. So when we talk about a complete protein, what we mean is we want a protein source. Now, whether that's animal protein, whey protein, or pea protein, soy protein, isolate, whatever it might be, it has all of those essential amino acids. And we do normally want to be aware of leucine as well. Just making sure that we're getting enough, because that's one of the really important ones for triggering that muscle growth for us. Now, again, you can do that with either supplementation, things like pea protein, soy proteins, or other really easy complete proteins that are probably very manageable, or you can do that with protein pairings. Some of our vegetable proteins will have some of our essential amino acids, but not all. So if we get another protein pairing with the rest of them, we get it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So protein we want to be aware of because of the fact that it is what we call the adaptive macronutrient. We need to get enough complete proteins, and we need to make sure that we get them enough times a day. And so for most people, enough times a day is going to be very relevant on your schedule. My advice, if you can get a full protein serving in 3 to 4 times a day, you're probably in a really good place. If you're intermittent fasting, you're probably going to get less, but protein, good, right? Second one, okay? So we're talking about building muscle with protein. So let's talk about carbohydrates. In the idea of physique sports, carbohydrates helps to prevent muscle protein breakdown, which means the breakdown of muscle tissue to use as energy. This is a normal thing, but when we have adequate carbohydrate intake, it helps to prevent this. And what these two things do together is they influence net muscle protein balance. So whether we lose muscle or gain muscle overall in the net. Carbohydrates are very important for this, as well as obviously our brain works on carbohydrates, and they're super important for healthy food choices in terms of micronutrient dense food options, and very, very important for our digestive health. We've got to have enough fiber, and again, the right kind of fiber. So including carbohydrates within our diet can be very, very important. Not only for, again, muscles, yes, but also for our general health and wellness. And we could eat a lot of easy to digest processed carbohydrates, but that's when we miss out on things like micronutrient dense food sources and fibrous food sources that help us to be healthy. Wow, that's a lot of H words. And so when we're looking at carbohydrate sources, we still want to get a very good source of leafy green vegetables, fruits, and use healthy food choices. Healthy, right? The traditional idea of health. Yes, because without adequate micronutrients, guess what? We do not perform well, we don't think well, we don't feel well. So making sure that we're getting a variety of different carbohydrate sources and micronutrient intakes is important. It's going to help us with health and with our performance and muscularity. Now, what about fats? Fats, Stephen, fats. Well, guess what? Fats is also important. Everything's important. Oh, scary. The reason fats can be important is because we do have fat-soluble vitamins. So we want to make sure that we have enough fats so that those can be dissolved in the bloodstream and absorbed into the body. Yes, absolutely, that's correct. So we need them for those. But what we may see is that fats can also probably impact some other things like your satiety, your digestion, and possibly your hormones as well. So making sure that we're not having fats too low, too long, or doing some bad things with those also helps us to have a well-rounded diet. The hard part is if we're only looking at calories, it can be very easy to be higher on the carbohydrates and the fats. It can be very easy to think things are carbohydrate heavy, like pizza for example, right? However, pizza can oftentimes have a lot of fat calories due to fattier cuts of meat and lots of cheese products, obviously. And these are things that can be easily overlooked if we are not paying attention to the actual macronutrient countdown, as opposed to something just like eating healthy, making healthy food choices, or only paying attention to calories. It's not that you necessarily have to do it, but if we want the best chance at success, the best chance to be our best selves, macronutrient tracking helps us to have that much more data and control over that. It helps us to be better in our health goals. It helps us to be better in our athletic goals and our physique goals. So why does macro counting matter? Well, the simple truth is it matters for not only what macronutrients do, but it matters because it gives you the ability to be that much more in control of your health and fitness journeys. And that's it. That's all I got. I'm done.